What's good, peeps? What's good, everyone? How's everyone doing? Hopefully, you're all doing very, very well. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. Don't forget as well to like and share the vids. All right, the Terence Crawford, Shawn Porter fight is in the books, as they like to say. Terence Crawford getting the 10th round stoppage after putting Shawn Porter down twice in the 10th round. Going into that 10th round, a lot of people, and this is me reading sort of the comments on the live stream, a lot of people had that fight very, very close or Porter ahead. Not many people had Terence Crawford ahead in that fight going into that 10th round, but that doesn't matter. Terence Crawford is the victor. He moves on. Fingers crossed, he moves on to take on Errol Spence. He was ringside. Errol Spence shook his head at the end of that fight and walked out. I shook my head at the end of the fight as well because I thought the stoppage was a bit strange. This is nothing against Terence Crawford. He done what he had to do, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But Shawn Porter banged the canvas when he got put down for a second time. And it's almost like he had this agreement with his dad that if he gets put down twice in the fight will be stopped. Because I thought he was banging the canvas. This is what I thought reading into it. Obviously, now that I've heard interviews from Kenny and Shawn, it's a different story. But reading into it, I thought he was banging the canvas, that he was either hurt or very, very angry with himself. He was angry with himself because I think he knew that if he goes down a couple of times in this fight, his dad's going to say, you know what? Enough's enough. And his dad did. He already knew, as soon as he went down, I think he knew the fight was stopped. That's what I'm trying to get at here. I think he knew that there was an agreement with his dad that, you know what, I don't want to see you get hurt. And this is maybe where the father as a trainer relationship is a tough one to take, because a normal trainer ain't stopping that fight. A father, obviously, look, I get it, that fatherly love, you're going to stop the fight. I understand it. You don't want to see your son get beaten up. But we, as big Shawn Porter fans, we know Shawn Porter's a dog. And Shawn Porter could have gone to the 12. I mean, look, Crawford's starting to go through the gears, but I think there's enough in Shawn to survive that round and go and get a decision. Sorry, lose on a decision, but go to a decision nonetheless. But in the end, his dad said, you know what, enough's enough, and that fight was over. I didn't think it was vintage Crawford. I'm a massive Crawford fan. I didn't think it was vintage. And I didn't expect it to be vintage just because you can't look vintage against Shawn. You can't. I did say that I think Crawford would get a late stoppage, but I thought the punches would be a lot cleaner. I thought his boxing would be a bit better. But Shawn's a dog, and Shawn will make it a dog fight. And Shawn had success in that fight. Shawn really did have some good success. He landed a couple of really stinging right hands as well. And what he did do, he almost like he pissed off Crawford. That's what I thought. Crawford was fighting orthodox for the first round. He got caught, and Crawford was like, okay, we're going southpaw. You want to play this game? You want me to go through the gears quicker than I really wanted to? We're going to go southpaw. And then once he did that, it was almost like Shawn maybe couldn't make the adjustment. Shawn still did well, by the way. Couldn't make the adjustments he was having success with in the first sort of round and a bit of the second round. And then it just became a dogfight. It really did. And I think Shawn had some good success, but you almost felt like it was inevitable that Crawford was going to start turning it up, and he did. Hence why he got the knockdown. Beautiful left hand. Second knockdown was a right hand over the top as well. Really good clean punches, and obviously the best punches of the fight. But it definitely wasn't the best Crawford. It really wasn't. Very intrigued to see what happens with Shawn now after that. I mean, look, there's some really good fights out there for him as a gatekeeper. And I don't mean to be rude when I say that, but as a gatekeeper at 147, you look at the likes of Boots Ennis, who's begging for an opportunity against a top 5, top 6 guy. Virgil Ortiz looks like he's going to fight a Venetian. The winner of that could fight Shawn. So look, really good fights out there for Shawn. He's clearly got a lot to offer. I'm just very, very disappointed at the stoppage. Very disappointed. Some people in the comment section is like, oh, you want him to get hurt? I don't think either knockdown was big knockdowns. Honestly, the first one, he got up comfortably. The second one, he got caught with a right, and then Crawford landed a couple, but mainly on the gloves. And the punch that put him down was almost like, it was almost a push down on the neck rather than a clean punch. And I think he could have got up and, look, if he got up, I'm telling you now, this guy would have literally bit on that gum shield and fought to the death. He would have, and he's got that in him. And I just feel, I don't know, man. I'm very disappointed at Kenny Porter for stopping that fight. Very disappointed, and I can tell everyone this because I read all the comments just now, and a lot of people are disappointed. But look, again, it's a good win for Crawford. He needed a win against an elite fighter, and I give Shawn his credit. Shawn is an elite fighter, and we wonder what next. What next has to be Errol Spence. There are no excuses now. That was his last fight, Terence under Top Rank. Um, I feel like what will be a determining factor in making this fight is how many pay-per-view buys this did. Because I think once these guys went to the drawing board, around this time last year, there was an issue in terms of who's the A side and B side. Errol is definitely the A side in terms of draw. But I guess if Crawford's going to bring something to the table and maybe narrow that A side, B side thing, he's going to have to produce good numbers for this fight. And I'm not quite sure. And it's going to be very easy. They're going to look at the numbers that Errol did against Shawn, and they're going to look at the numbers that Crawford did against Shawn. If Shawn can somehow match the numbers that Errol did against Shawn, they might go 50-50. If not, then Errol's going to be the A side in demand and make a lot of demands, and that might cost the fight. But there are no reasons it can't happen now, because Shawn, I keep doing this, sorry, Terence can go over now and fight on PBC. He can do that. He can sign up to them. One fight deal. That's all he can do. And a rematch clause in it. He can do it. And that's the fight we want to see, because he's 34 now. He's not getting any younger. I would argue and say he's slowing down a little bit. His hands still look sharp for the first half of the fight. I think it was a combination of him not getting faster, but Shawn getting slower, and that's why he caught Shawn. But I think it's time to make that fight. It really is. But let's hope it can be made. But again, what did you guys make of the stoppage? Again, I thought I don't want to see someone bloody die in the ring, but I still think there was a lot left of Shawn after. A lot left. And again, that's the father-son relationships, right? That's what happens. That's what happens all the time. But I'm telling you now, he banged on the canvas because he had an agreement. This is not me saying factually, but I think he had an agreement with his dad. If you get put down in this fight at any time, twice in a round, I'm stopping the fight. And he knew that when he went down, and that's why when he was down, he banged the canvas. That's why he was angry at himself, but he was angry knowing the fight's over. The fight's over. Because he got up. It's not like he got up on wobbly legs. He got up and his dad was already on the apron calling the fight. So, yeah, disappointing for me. But look, Crawford goes on, and we'll see what happens next. We'll see. It'll be interesting. We will be really interesting for Porter. Look, I think it's a silly matchup, and I would never do it. Nigel Ben. Conor Ben's got Algieri next. When Conor Ben beat Samuel Vargas, he was calling out Shawn Porter. I was like, "You're crazy. You're crazy." If Conor Ben does come through Algieri, I do wonder if he'll call Shawn out again. I would love to see Shawn over here. I would love it. I don't think Conor would travel to America. I think you can get him over here, yeah? And it's an O2 Arena sellout. It really is. I think Shawn's above that, way above that. Honestly, way above it. But who knows? Who knows? They might think he's there for the taking now. I personally don't think so. I personally think he'll beat Conor. I personally think he might stop Conor. But you know what? Sometimes you got to roll the dice with these fights. Big fight, O2 Arena. By the time they fight, Shawn could be 35. Right, if you can't beat him at 35, probably never going to be able to beat him. So who knows? Who knows? Guys, let me go home. Sunday session live tomorrow. Peace.